Well, I drive to work each morning. Traffic jams stop me from speeding. Sometimes I wanna keep on driving till it feels like my heart and my soul stop bleeding. Oh, it's time to go away, 'cause my heart's miles away from LA. Now I'm here in Arizona, fighting life again out in Sedona. But I know where I'm supposed to be. Well, the city of angels still calls out to me. Oh, I wish I could stay, 'cause my heart's miles away from LA. Oh, my heart's miles away from LA. Oh, it's miles away.
I was grieving. I was mourning for my dad. It was somehow always on my mind that he was gone. He was a scholar. He was a great historian, an expert in American history. At that phase of my life, I needed a spiritual wake-up call.
As you go about your way, be aware if any animals cross your path.
My solution to the doldrums was to find myself a Native American shaman. My shaman wasn't your ordinary, average, everyday Native American mystic. My shaman had a cell phone and a beeper and a fax machine, and I probably wouldn't have wanted it any other way. My idea was to do a series of paintings of Sedona during the summer. I felt that Rahelio could inspire me by awakening an awareness within me of those sources of mystical energy with which he seemed to be so familiar. They say those red rocks hold special energy, that there are vortexes of power. I asked him to choose the PowerPoints that we would go to. Sometimes we climbed, sometimes we walked on long trails, always carrying the easel, the paints, the palette. It was an extraordinary experience, and he was an extraordinary man.
What is a shaman?
It's basically a person who's one with nature, able to be a facilitator for healing. There's many different types of healers, teachers, shamans, medicine people. It's just a word that has taken on a lot of momentum because at this time we live in, this is what we have been lacking, and people are now awakening to fulfill those roles. Our modern society has been disconnected from the shaman, and so many people are awakening that within themselves. Some are being passed on through tradition, and others are being awakened through spontaneous encounters and spontaneous remembrance. Our journey is to gather the energy to integrate ourselves, to silence the mind. When the mind becomes quiet, then you're out of the box of the rational mind, and it comes direct knowingness.
He was a modern shaman, and he didn't just stick to the Native American traditions. Rahelio was hip to yoga, Buddhism, all forms of meditation, Far Eastern beliefs. He was open to trying anything that worked, but basically, Rahelio was inspired by his tradition, and it was a tradition of song and chanting and prayer and belief in the Earth Mother, the Earth as a sentient being, a belief that the Earth is actually alive like we are, and that we receive our birth from her.
We are one with the infinite sun, forever and ever and ever. We are one with the infinite sun, forever and ever and ever. We are, we are, we are.
Rahelio had actually been living for a few years in my second home in Sedona, Arizona, with his wife, Joanna, and their baby, boy, Tonatiu, was born while they were living in my house.
Right there, what's that?
Hello, Paul Davis. So glad to see you. Grab onto you. Thank you.
When I heard from Rahelio that he was going to move from my house, I went to visit him.
Are you going to drive this time?
He makes a living by conducting mystic tours of Sedona.
My name is Tonatiu Alexander George Malanos Rodriguez.
Just at the right time at twilight, you hear the wind. And Rahelio and I would come up and take walks here all the time. We thought people were talking. We'd go, wait a minute, who's that? What is that? And it was the wind, and it speaks. And it speaks like thunder, and that's why it's Thunder Mountain. It's beautiful, it's incredible.
Sedona is a very mystical place.
That's the one? Okay.
It was strange.
That's the right train.
Rahelio's wife was pregnant when he rented our house. 7 months pregnant, and my dad had died just a few months before.
We have come together sharing our sorrow to memorialize Jules Davids. We recall the blessing of his life. We thank God for all that was good and true in his life, and for the precious memories which shall endure forever. Fear not death, we are all destined to die. We share it with all who ever lived, with all who ever will be. Bewail the dead, hide not your grief. Do not restrain your mourning, but remember that continuing sorrow is worse than death.
I tried to contact my dad in dreams. Once or twice I felt as if he came to me in a dream. He told me he was happy, that he had fulfilled his life, that I should stop dwelling on him, that it was okay, that we all pass on and he had passed on to a good place. I just couldn't see the Earth as being the same old wonderful planet without my dad around. The older I got, maybe the more open-minded I became. Life is a mystery. We don't have the answers. Some people believe in reincarnation. They believe that you come back after you leave your body behind and pass away. I really wanted my dad to come back, and I said a prayer that he would. I said quite a few prayers that my dad would come back, and I asked that he be reborn as Rahelio's son. It seemed fitting in a way. My dad had spent some time during his last couple of years in my house in Sedona, His spirit was definitely there in that house where the child was going to be born and raised. Are miracles possible? After Rahelio's son was born, and I was living far away in Los Angeles, I would stop to think from time to time and wonder about the boy.
Yuck. Juice. Juice.
This is nothing. This is the Buddhist stupa.
That's called a rock. And see this part here? It's fragile.
It's fragile.
It's made of wood.
I wanted to get to know him. I wanted to look for signs to see if there was any possibility that this little child was actually my father. Painting helped me forget my pain. Painting is such an immediate act, all-absorbing in the present moment, like Zen. Painting is also an act of faith. You never know where the brushes are going to take you. And from the first brushstroke of a painting, you can hardly even dream of what it's going to look like when it's actually done. You go along for the ride. You let the brushes carry you.
Tonka shela pila maya yelo.
We found a dead snake today in front of the door when we came home earlier, and I was surprised. I wondered why.
So the snake is this symbol of, as it ends a cycle of growth, off goes the skin, the shedding of the skin. Sometimes it doesn't serve you anymore, and you have to move on to your next phase of life. Sometimes people are very materialistically minded, and they have a spiritual awakening, and they just can't stay there anymore. They have to go and create their life in a new way. And so the shedding of the skin is this letting go of the old self. Quite often within the nature of relationship, we have very transformative and healing encounters, sexual encounters, and powerful encounters. That's the snake energy. But also there can be pain, hurt, loss, anger, jealousy, negativity in the emotional level. So the serpent represents the part of transmuting the poisons of the emotional body and shedding the skin. And that's why how the snake rises up through the brow, the wisdom serpent.
When Rahelio does his shamanistic service, appealing to the thunder forces, to the animal spirits, to the ancient fathers of the Native Americans, the wise ones of old, it fills me, it fills my consciousness, and I let it guide me as I'm moving the brushes. Sometimes I'll paint in rhythm to his drum beat, and the strokes go in rhythm to the drum.
I became familiar with Sedona's many landmarks. There's Coffee Pot Rock, which really does look like you could pour a cup of coffee out of its lip. There's Schnebley Hill and Boynton Canyon. Names like Bell Rock, Courthouse Rock became second nature to me.
You bring your umbrella? Because it feels like in about 20 minutes it could start to rain. Maybe even sooner. Like 10 minutes.
Day after day I painted. My body was covered with paint half the time, and every day was a day of wonder and beauty and a sense of pleasure and thrill at being alive. Life is short and life is what we make it. And if we don't live our dreams now, when will we?
That's a dream catcher. The dream catcher is an antenna to bring in your dreams.
Aliens, humanoids, and hybrids were always welcome at the Red Planet Diner. You might even meet
Maybe I'll
one.
be my Lemurian lover. I'll be your Pleiadian princess. And we'll travel around the planet, wearing nothing but light bodies in our iridescent spaceship on the floor.
Hi guys.
Hey, join us. Tell us about the planet.
Doesn't Sedona look like Mars? Yeah, that's why I named it the Red Planet Diner, because if you ever, you've seen pictures of Mars, it just looks just like Sedona.
This used to be Phil and Eddie's. This was like
Right.
the 1950s diner.
Right. Why did I put all these aliens and all this, the universe and all that on the
How did it
ceiling?
come about? Yeah, your own
I
personal
think,
interests?
no, I think it was all that LSD I took in high school. It's great. People love it. Raising consciousness of aliens and UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Jimmy Carter has said things. Even Ronald Reagan has
Made reference.
to it in major speeches.
You saw my movie, Roswell.
Yeah, that was terrific.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
For you, what happens when we die?
I think you reincarnate really fast. I think you'll go right back to another body because you want to get back. You've got so many things undone on the earth plane that you zoom back to it. I think it's like that. I think there is a life review for a lot of people. And you'll get a life review with higher beings, and they'll say, like, well, here's where you kind of went off your plans, and here's where you went off your blueprint a little bit, and, you might want to,
Try it again?
Yeah. Reincarnation, yeah, that makes sense to me. That's, you're never going to prove things like that. You're never going to prove to people that they've had past lives if they don't want to believe in it. There's no proof. There's no scientific proof. I believe in it.
My father spent some time in the house with me, the house that you rented for 3 years. I feel his spirit in the house. And, my father passed away, and then your son was born. He was born in the house? Was he actually born in the house or in the hospital?
He was born in Flagstaff.
You were living in the house when he was born.
Yeah.
And the house was the first place that he ever lived. He came back from Flagstaff to the house. And, I've been very curious to look for signs in your son, to see if I can see any signs of my father in your son.
What happens is not always a reincarnation of somebody who passed away, but what happens is that people, when they pass, they leave their essence behind. and somebody else can pick up the essence.
I mean, that's what he believes. The priest believes you either go to heaven or hell, you get judged on some good deeds. What is it like? You get judged on 70 years, there's a brief amount of time. You don't even learn what the heck you're doing here on this planet until you're like 70. You still don't even learn.
My father was a great expert in American history, American diplomatic history. He was a professor at Georgetown. He taught presidents. He taught Bill Clinton. He taught Jackie Kennedy. So he knew these 50 states and their history.
Okay.
One of the things you told me about your son that was so surprising was that you had a puzzle of the 50 states.
Right.
And at a very young age, he knew every state. He could put the whole puzzle together practically. Tell me about that.
What's this one right here?
Arizona. Here's right Arizona.
He knows them all upside down and backwards. And
I'm holding this backwards and upside down. I don't think you know what state this is.
It's called California.
Are you sure that's California?
It is. This is West Virginia.
That's good, that's true.
West Virginia.
And where does that go?
It goes here.
What's
It's
that?
Missouri.
Oh, you're so smart. Show me where Missouri goes.
Missouri goes here.
Right there like that?
Yeah. Mississippi. Here is it.
Is that it?
That is it.
Does it say, let me see, does it say, it says Mississippi. Very good. Where does it go?
It goes here.
Right there like that?
Yes.
But this one you don't know. This one you never learned, did you?
I love it. It's Alabama.
Oh my goodness, where does Alabama go?
Alabama. It goes here.
And this one, who's this guy?
It's called Kentucky.
Excellent. You're looking at it backwards again, always figuring them out backwards.
It goes right there.
Now this is a very hard one. Nobody ever gets this right.
It's called North Dakota.
I think it is.
It is.
I think it is.
It is. I'm right.
You know them all, huh?
I know.
And this one?
Iowa.
Good.
It goes right here.
And this one?
And this one is Indiana.
Good.
And
How do you know so much about
It
the United
goes
States?
Right here, I know them.
And what about this one here? This
This
one?
one is Maine.
It was something of a shock to me when I learned about Rahelio's son's special talent with puzzle pieces of the states of America.
found your wonderful.
And you say he learned this when he was 2 years old, and that he learned it all in one day. It's phenomenal.
It is. It is.
It's a great mystery.
It is a great mystery.
Jules David's name ricochets through the canyons of the history of Georgetown University.
Professor David should be remembered not only for the achievements chronicled in his obituary in the Washington Post and in the New York Times, but also for the true gentleman that he was. Jules Davids was one of the titans of a history department that in the 60s and 70s was probably as good, if not better, than most in the country.
I will say, without any fear of any contradiction, that he was the greatest teacher I've ever had.
Along the way, he taught Jackie Kennedy and ghosted several of the chapters in her husband's profiles in Courage.
It won a Pulitzer Prize and helped Kennedy win the presidency. And my dad got a mention in the preface. After my dad passed away, it was acknowledged that he had written a great deal of the book.
But for Jules' part, he preferred to keep his profile low. He was a selfless teacher, scholar, and colleague. He elevated his students' wisdom.
Dear Dr. Davids, I was delighted to learn from Ted Sorensen that it would be possible for you to arrange your schedule to assist us in the preparation of the book. Sincerely, John Kennedy.
Profiles in Humility. Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, yeah.
What a wonderful title.
Yeah, and this is a collage of letters
What a
to...
title that is.
Collage.
What a profile
Yes,
title.
yes.
That's why she did it.
And this is a collage of letters he's written and people have written to him. A lot of it's about profiles encouraged. I think one is from Kennedy, and this is to represent Jules' glasses and letters to him. And here they JFK's secret writer.
I was a kid when he was hard at work on it. And then he wrote his own history volume, America and the World of Our Time, which he followed with 40 volumes of the China papers that he edited. It included all the diplomatic papers between the United States and China, going back to the days when the U.S. first had diplomatic relations with China.
The phrase kept going through my mind of Ted Kennedy and the eulogy for Robert Kennedy in St. Patrick's Cathedral. He was a good and decent man. And then he had to rephrase. And Jules was such a good and decent man. And he made us all stronger, as they used to say about Jack Kennedy. He shared his integrity, he shared his generous heart, and he shared the sweetness that was in him.
I had an ache in my heart. So did my mom and my sister, and there was no way to fill the void.
I had a dream, and in that dream it was I saw Dad so real. It was just as if he'd come back to me. I wanted to believe that anyway. I wanted to believe that somehow his spirit was there in my dream, just to comfort me and to let me know somehow that he was in heaven, all whole again, without Alzheimer's. And I heard his voice so clearly. It was just amazing that when I woke up, it was just like I thought he was right there. And I hadn't heard his voice speaking conversation like that in years, because he had had Alzheimer's for so long. He could just repeat a couple of words at a time over and over. So I could just hear the words, I could hear the conversation. It was his typical expressions and his typical words and the sound of his voice. And it was wonderful. I wanted it to just stay with me forever.
With the benefit of Rahelio's guidance and his wisdom, I was feeling restored. This was a healing. Sometimes it takes a spiritual quest to reignite the life fire inside us. Sometimes we have to turn away from the past and create a new future and a new life for ourselves, and something we can leave behind as a gift for others.
Tonka shela pila maya yelo.
There's an artist and a shaman, and it's true that they both come from different worlds, but they're brothers as they travel down the trails through the red rocks of Sedona. The artist listens as he follows, 'cause he knows that all he's learning really matters. Oh, the beauty and the brilliance of Father Sky, and the wisdom and the care of Mother Earth, and the memory of our loved ones who've gone by. Oh, the memory of our loved ones who've gone by.
Rahelio felt it was important that I become more familiar with some of the traditional Native American ways. He introduced me to the sweat lodge ceremony. We weren't allowed to film the actual lodge. That's when you go into the darkness of of the dome-like tent, asking to be made a better person.
They told me a story. It was a story about these people who came from across this big water. So they came over here with boats. Said, and the first thing that they did when they got here, they started building fences around everything. They built fences around their homes. They built fences around their cattle, around their livestock. They even built fences around their children. And we watched them. Pretty soon they got so big and so many fences that they even put us into fences. But the old ones, they said that there will come a time that said that there'll be so many fences that they'll even have fences up in the sky. When that time comes, that's when we'll go out and begin showing these people how to laugh again, how to pray.
But also praying for healing for loved ones and ourselves, rebirthing our reality.
We know that all things are in a circle that work in the big hoop, and everything comes around. We've all gone through all of the bias and stuff of people saying, "Oh, you're this," or "You're this," and we have a little bit more compassion for each other in that way.
So we live in a time in the prophecy of when the eagle and condor will fly together, and when the people of the East will come to the people of the Native American traditions. So we're all recreating ourselves in this way and getting back to the old ways, traditional ways. I think all of us have been influenced a lot by like the Lakota traditions because they're very strong, but we all have Indian blood out of Mexico, and so we're honoring that part of us too.
What are we going to do down here?
We're going to play in the sand.
Are we having sweat lodge?
Yes.
The sweat lodge is an act of purification.
The purpose of the fire was to heat some large stones, making them very, very hot. Those would be placed in a pit inside the tent.
I'm making dirt in the dangerous spider.
Old Jerome, the ghost town, vestiges of the Old West, enshrouded in legend and mystery and lore and piles of junk.
My shaman must have had very acute hearing. He used his cell phone just about anywhere.
Maybe we can talk later tonight. After 8 o'clock tonight.
As a city dweller, I wasn't exactly in harmony with our four-legged friends, particularly the big ones. Rahelio could commune with all the animals. It was one of his shamanistic qualities.
Different qualities, attributes of the animal, it can be gifted to you. For instance, the eagle, the rising sun, the symbol of the sun is like a conduit for the Great Spirit's energy. So the sun is as a symbol for God. Well, the sun rises and comes the light of the day, and then the eagle emanates as that light, awakens the mind. You awaken from your sleep. You awaken spiritually from your sleep. And so when the eagle comes upon you, it awakens you to see, to have insight, to be illuminated, to have consciousness. The eagle has various qualities, and it can see with great detail. It's the detailed perception from an expanded point of view. Whereas the little squirrels and rabbits and things, these are four-legged. They don't see so far. They're more concerned with the immediate things, immediate needs. Squirrels gathering nuts, taking care of survival issues. They don't have that expanded perception.
Sedona's about the most peaceful place I've ever seen.
That's right.
Well,
it's pretty peaceful. They have some crime now, not too much.
There is some crime in Sedona?
Yeah, there's some people flip out in Sedona. Crimes of passion.
Obviously, I had flipped out in Sedona. And my crime of passion was painting.
I see Shakespeare and I see Beethoven. I see Mozart and Bach. I see Adam and Moses and Abraham. I even see Noah's Ark. I see visions that I can't explain to you. I just see what I see. I may not see for all mankind, but I see for me. I think sometimes about the less fortunate. I think of music a lot. I'll talk philosophy down on a street corner. I'll even talk about thought. 'Cause I see visions that I can't explain to you. I just see what I see. I may not think for all mankind, but I think for me. I may not speak for all mankind, but I speak for me.
I sometimes think that half of the job of painting a picture is putting the paint on the canvas till you're satisfied with it. And the other half is getting the canvas to a safe location after you finish. It's always an adventure getting my canvases back to the cart. You know, You go places to paint, and the paint is very wet, very vulnerable to anything landing in it, scratching it, dripping on it. So it always pays to say a little prayer after you finish a painting for divine help getting it back to the car.
First question. He was born October
5th,
what year?
1997.
And you moved in about a month before he was born.
Mm-hmm.
My father died December 6th, 1996. So my father died about, what, 2 months before he was conceived?
Actually, he was conceived in the week of between January 20th and January 24th. We actually know that it would be those days.
He was conceived the month after my father died. My father was ill toward the end of his life, and he needed to be taken care of, and I would take a plane back east to Maryland, get him, and fly back to Arizona with him so that he could spend a couple weeks with me in Sedona. I would take him horseback riding, and my kids were out here then, and we would all take care of him. We'd go up to Jerome and pose for Western pictures. You know, he loved putting on, Western gear, and he would sit in the house there and read his book. My dad's name was Jules. If you could have another name, I'm going to give you a choice between a few names. All right. Would you rather if your name was Charlie?
Charlie?
Or Thomas?
Thomas?
Or Jules?
Yes.
The fact that he, didn't really respond to the other two names you mentioned, but actually responded to the name Jules was kind of interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like that. It was Thomas, and he'd go Thomas, and Charles, and then he said Jules, and he goes, yes. I like that.
Later. See you guys on the other end.
Mother Earth had heard Rahelio's prayers from the ground and the cliffs, and now she was to hear them from the air.
To Native people, the land is sacred. Earth Mother is a living being. Places of power were recognized and made pilgrimage to. In the surrounding area, the tribes, Yavapai, Apache, they came into this area, they revered it, and that they only came for their pilgrimage times. But there was a time period when the volcano was erupting towards Flagstaff, the Sunset Crater, about 1060 AD. For a couple hundred years it erupted. Around that time period, peoples from the rim came down. They called them Senawa, and they're linked to the Hopi people on the south. And they came down, they built shrines into the cliffs, and left, in previous times they left migration symbols, and they left the remnants of their visits here.
I kept having flashes of memories in my mind. I recalled all Dad lost toward the end, through Alzheimer's disease, his decline, the memory loss, the dissolving of the fabric of his life before our eyes.
You like choo-choos?
Yeah, love choo-choo.
Me too.
Scott, why don't you open up the space shuttle? That space shuttle is over there. Oh, look, it has an R2D2. R2D2. It has an R2D2.
That's not an R2D2.
One of the most dramatic moments during my dad's final days in our house involved a scorpion in the very living room where Tonatiu had identified all of the U.S. states.
Washington, D.C., you were there.
Before Tonatiu was even born, my dad killed a scorpion right there, stomping on it in that very room.
Get that scorpion off there, Paul Davids! Quick!
He knew that this scorpion represented a danger. And he came right over like this, right here, and he put his shoe down and he killed that scorpion.
Scorpions have bite and sting. And so I want they to step on them so they don't sting on me.
For whatever it's worth, I took the boy's intense reaction to scorpions as another connection with my dad.
You know, are these all mind games that we play with ourselves because life is a dilemma and it's a puzzle box and we never get all the answers we want. Unless we receive the answers in the last moment before we go, and no one has really been able to tell us that, we live a life without answers. And even the most certain of us are really living amidst confusion and bewilderment. And we're all still children inside. And the hardest hurt is when someone you really loved becomes mortally ill. With tragedy. We can't. How do we cope with tragedy? And is belief in reincarnation nothing more than our cope mechanism for how we deal with tragedy, or is there some real, tangible truth to it? Maybe we wouldn't want to have the answer. Maybe it's a part of what keeps us going in life, that the search never ends.
We are one in the circle. We are one in the light. We are one in the spirit. We are
Sky Father, to our Mother Earth. Dedicate this to you. We're in the medicine wheel. It's an altar. It's a sacred space. In this circle, all life finds its place. In many of the wheels, you would see 7 central stones, 7 lords of light, 7 sacred mysteries. And as creation pulsed forth like a heartbeat, these 7 danced, these 7 sacred dancers. They danced everything into manifestation. They danced and sang. This circle creates a focal point for prayer. When we walk this wheel in our prayers, we dance or sing, we meditate in the center. We move this wheel, turn the energy flow, bringing the energy of the surrounding canyons and mountains. The east awakens our individual purpose, our vision, but in the west is where we understand our reflection with others and with the greater that surrounds us. And we come into a full awareness. So this is the harvesting time and of gathering this meaning to understand how we have come into the world and what we have done. And so the west is a part of right relationship. Like the fall time, everything has come to its maturity, and as fall passes, the days begin to shorten, and nature, the green things begin to die away through the fall. The colors of the leaves, everything is changing, and it's a place of transformation within us. We begin to transform ourselves because we've looked within and connect with this mystery. We've awakened to this sun, this arising sun. We've nurtured, sustained ourselves, our families, built foundations in our life, and now looking inward to find a deeper meaning to the mystery of the night, of the unseen.
Oh, you've got a funny way of looking at things, a funny way of looking at things. And you've got a funny way of letting it show, a funny way of letting it show. And you've got a funny way, it's making me smile, a funny way, it's making me smile. Oh yeah. It's like you're moving through lifetimes.
The paintings were my reason for being that summer. They evolved. They grew and I grew with them. They gained new layers of texture and complexity, and so did I. The paintings seemed to speak to me, and I listened to their message, and I tried to respond. I responded with my brushes, sometimes applying the paint forcefully, roughly, and other times stroking the paint onto the canvas tenderly, compassionately, with love. If I was seeking some kind of cosmic answer that summer, I didn't really know how I would find it, but I thought I would know the answer when it came to me. The answer was a sort of state of being. It was a calmness. Part of it was the sense of freedom. A friend of mine once asked me, how could I allow myself to be so free? freedom just is. Like anything else in life, you have to want it, you have to seize it, you have to seek it, you have to become it. Is there any way we can cover the painting? Do you still have the keys? Do I have the keys?
Keys are right there.
Maybe it'll... Huh?
Under the tree.
Where's the tree? And then I have to come back to it. I have to decide what in the painting I want to come back to and what I want to leave alone.
Do you need to see the site again, or you can just go from your imagination?
Usually I go for my imagination, you know, that it wouldn't be practical to revisit each site. And usually the kinds of changes to be made in a painting, the answers to those questions won't be found at the site. They're found within the painting itself.
I see the bottom corner, how those colors are like that. I really like that. That's kind of like this contrast to the dynamic formations I see.
Don't the Hindus say that everything is Maya? Everything delusion? Except the force of the wind that was guiding my hand with the brush. The voices that I would hear in a language that I couldn't understand. Voices of people who had lived here so many years before and claimed this land as their own. Was it their spirits that I was hearing? Were they really still here? All around me? Watching me?
The wind can speak to us, whisper to us. The silence of the mountains, the flowing of the stream, the dancing in the clouds. Everything is a part of a circle of life, and it's alive. It's called the beauty way. In this busy world we live in, so often we forget what we know, forget to be present, to be at peace, to take a deep breath and to connect with what's around us. People rush past it so much, not aware of the deeper quality or the perception of the livingness of the spirit. Because everything around us is the spirit. There's a Lakota word that many of the tribes have adopted, a Lakota saying that speaks of the circle of life and the unity of all things. It goes, Aho Mitapoyasin. It refers to this oneness consciousness, that we're in a relativity. Everything is connected, everything is alive, everything needs to be in balance.
There's an artist and a shaman, and it's true that they both come from different worlds, but they're brothers as they travel down the trails through the red rocks of Sedona. The artist listens as he follows, 'cause he knows that all his learning really matters. All the beauty and the brilliance of Father Sky, and the wisdom and the care of Mother Earth.
Those three would be fabulous over there.
What do you think of that there?
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah. If you put that there and then...
This is more dramatic. It should go lower.
When I was doing this painting, I attacked the canvas. You know, these brush strokes here are so violent. You know.
Oh, that's great. That's good. That's great. I love it.
A little wine,
I love wine.
a little refreshment, music.
Creekside Galleries here in Park City invited me to come have a show.
I noticed that your choice of colors, it's very bright, brilliant, and it does feel very Vincent van Gogh-ish.
He's had a very big influence on me.
It's very fluid.
This story, I decided to bring Vincent van Gogh back today. Here's an artist who only sold one painting in his lifetime.
It's amazing.
Out of 900 paintings, he sold one and earned 400 francs for his entire life. And he was so despairing, he committed suicide at age 37.
Wow.
And today, the aggregate of his work is probably worth over $1 billion.
I've been painting since I was around 10. And it hadn't been till I made the film Starry Night that I became a madman like Vincent. Painting dozens of canvases that soon became over 100. I sure wish my dad could have been there to share the moment with me. I know how proud he would have been. He would have lit up the room with his smile. I realize now that there was something I had to do, something important that I had left undone in Sedona.
Under the Sedona sky, watching as our lives go by, wondering when we'll say goodbye. Under the Sedona sky. Paint the sky gray and blue. Paint the rocks brown and red. Paint yourself with the ones you love on your canvas dreams. Paint out your past, your present and your future. You may just find life's more than it seems. Under the Sedona sky, wondering when we'll say goodbye, dividing the truth from the lies. Under the Sedona sky.
I love you, Dad.
Very, very good.
I love you.
Very, very, very good.
Do you love me too?
Absolutely.
You do, absolutely?
Absolutely.
I missed you when I'm not here.
Listen, I missed you.
You miss me too?
I missed you.
Those were my last words with my dad. I had a pocket tape recorder in the nursing home. The Sedona Film Festival had decided to show my film Timothy Leary's Dad, and to hold an exhibit of my Sedona Summer Series paintings right next door to the theater, in the Art Mart. The art show in Sedona was very special, and I was bursting with curiosity as to how they would react.
I'm Ayan and came here from Germany, and I am excited to see the paintings. This is very inspiring.
Well, to tell you the truth, to paint like this, he has to love this area. He's captured the feeling that I feel about being here.
You know, I think he's really captured that sense of energy that we have here, that a lot of people call vortex energy. The energy is intense, and the longer you're in this vortex energy, the more you feel it.
When I look at them, I feel taken into a different state of mind, so I can understand that he did. How did he do the work? He did it when he was going through when he was doing work with a shaman.
It's like you're taking off the outer layer of the thing, and there's like blood in there. I'm sorry to be so grotesque. It's like the skin is stripped off the hills, and you're actually looking at something which is not real, but it's very foreboding. I mean, there's a real foreboding quality about many of these paintings.
I haven't seen anything quite like it. It's very original.
Like Vincent van Gogh, he will have a structure in it, and then he'll bring out a subtle one. Like on Dry Creek, you notice the trees, and as the structure comes forward, it gets more clear to the picture, and he brings out the rocks.
Dry Creek Road.
Do you like them?
Yes, I do.
See the lightning?
Yes.
He's very good, and I can see why he's done Van Gogh. He's a reincarnation of Van Gogh.
He's returned, yes.
Yeah, he did lose his ear, though.
But you do like the bright colors, like Vincent van Gogh. Being from Holland, we appreciate that movie indeed. Yeah. It's said that many artists only become appreciated after they pass away and move over to another life.
This is my favorite one with the stars. I love the shooting star.
Shooting star was Sedona.
Yes, that's my favorite.
I like the shooting star.
What I call my vision quest of coming to Sedona and working with Rahelio, with his healing and his taking me to the PowerPoints and showing me where I could spiritually awaken myself by painting this scene or that scene as he chanted and offered prayers. It's been a way of finding myself again after my father's death. You know, I mourned my father's passing so much. The loss was so severe. Everyone in the family loved him so much. And he is so irreplaceable, and it's so hard to accept this world without him here. And so it's in a sense that I came here in search of my father after losing him. So we lost one great soul, and we have another great soul that's entered this world as a baby, and that's a good feeling. And so I would like to be Tonatiu's godfather.
Thank you.
Do you think he would like that?
Yes.
Oh. Mm. Thank you.
I came down.
There's an artist and a shaman, and it's true that they both come from different worlds, but they're brothers as they travel down the trails through the red rocks of Sedona. The artist listens as he follows, 'cause he knows that all he's learning really matters. Oh, the beauty and the brilliance of Father Sky, and the wisdom and the care of Mother Earth, and the memory of our loved ones who've gone by. Oh, the memory of our loved ones who've gone by. Now there's an artist and a shaman, and it's true that they both come from different worlds, but they're brothers as they travel down the trails through the red rocks of Sedona. The artist listens as he follows, 'cause he knows that all he's learning really matters. Oh, the beauty and the brilliance of Father Sky, and the wisdom and the care of Mother Earth, and the memory of our loved ones who've gone by. Oh, the memory of our loved ones who've gone by. Oh, the beauty and the brilliance of Father Sky, and the wisdom and the care of Mother Earth, and the memory of our loved ones who've gone by. Yeah, the memory of our loved ones who've gone by. Oh, the memory of our loved ones who've gone by. Oh, the memory of our loved ones who've gone by.